In the bustling world of real estate, closing a deal is often celebrated with a handshake or perhaps a relieved sigh. But what happens when a buyer suddenly decides to step away from a contract? It's a scenario dreaded by sellers and agents alike. Let's dive into what occurs when a buyer backs out of a contractual agreement, and what it means for all parties involved. Firstly, it's essential to understand that once a buyer signs a purchase contract, they are legally bound to fulfill the terms of that agreement. However, certain contingencies, such as failed home inspections, financial difficulties, or issues with obtaining a mortgage, can sometimes provide avenues for a buyer to exit a deal legitimately. These contingencies, often stipulated within the contract, act as essential safeguards. For the buyer, they serve as an escape route if the purchase does not align as expected. However, if a buyer decides to withdraw for reasons outside these contingencies, things get a bit more complicated. The first repercussion is often the loss of their earnest money deposit, which can range from a few $1,000s to a substantial percentage of the property's price. The earnest money serves as a gesture of good faith, showing the seller that the buyer is committed to the purchase. When the buyer backs out without a contractual safety net, these funds typically go to the seller as compensation for their time and potential losses. But the consequences don't stop there. Withdrawing without legitimate cause might expose the buyer to legal complications. Sellers, facing a sudden change in plans, have the right to take legal action, potentially suing for damages. These damages can cover a variety of financial setbacks, from the costs involved in marketing the property again, to the difference between the original contract price and what they eventually sell for, particularly if the market takes a downturn. On the seller's side, having a buyer back out can be disruptive and disheartening. Aside from the financial aspects, the emotional toll of seeing a seemingly secured deal crumble can be significant. Sellers might also face delays, having to relist the property and go through the process of attracting new buyers all over again. On a broader scale, a buyer exiting a contract without valid reasons can also affect relationships with real estate agents, lenders, and possibly other buyers. It underscores the importance of understanding the commitment involved when making such significant financial decisions. Both buyers and sellers should thoroughly review and comprehend the contract terms before signing, ensuring that contingencies are clearly understood and realistic expectations are set. In conclusion, buyers walking away from a contract trigger a chain of consequences, from financial implications to potential legal battles. It highlights the critical nature of clear communication and due diligence, ensuring that all parties proceed in good faith and with clarity. As with many legal and financial matters, knowledge, preparation, and understanding contractual obligations can save significant time, money, and heartache in the complex journey of real estate transactions.